This is a lesson over cells and organisms. It is step 4, and it's focused on specialized functions. Let's start with the learning targets. The first learning target is that you know the terms unicellular and multicellular. In order to know something, you must be able to define it or automatically recall the information and share it back to me. A unicellular organism is one that is made out of one cell, and a multicellular organism is an organism that is made out of multiple cells. Second learning target is that you know the organization of multicellular organisms. Organization is how something is set up or structured. Organisms are living things. The third learning target is that you understand each cell, tissue, and organ has a structure and function that serves the organism as a whole. To understand something, you have to do more than define it or recall the information. You need to do something with that information. You might illustrate it, you might symbolize it, you might compare it to other situations. A cell is the basic unit of life. A tissue is made up of cells that perform a specific function. An organ is made up of different tissues that perform a specific function. Structure is how something is set up or designed. Function is what something does. And to serve something is to help it. The fourth and final learning target is that you understand that specialized cells perform specialized functions. In order for something to be specialized, it means it is focused on one small area or one small purpose. Since I'm a science teacher, that is my specialization. I know about science, while Mr. Quinn really knows his information about math. So we are specialized in those certain areas. Let's talk about unicellular and multicellular. A unicellular organism is one that is made up of only one cell. What's really important about unicellular organisms is that they have the structures that allow it to do everything it needs to survive. So they have structures that allow it to move, eat, reproduce, and respond. A multicellular organism is made up of many cells, different types of cells. These cells work together to help keep the organism alive. So some of the cells are specialized and they help the organism move, while other types of cells help the organism eat and digest food. The top are protists, so they're types of unicellular organisms. And a paramecium is an example of a protist, so it's again a unicellular organism. And you can see by the picture that it has these different parts that allow it to respond and to live. So a unicellular organism has a food vacuole to hold the food, has cilia that helps it move. A worm, fungi, and trees are all multicellular organisms. So they have different cells that do different jobs. Let's talk about how multicellular organisms are organized. Cells are the basic unit of life, so it's the smallest piece of life that you can have. Tissues are groups of cells that work together. So for example, blood is a tissue. It's made up of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. And all of these things work together to help the organism. Organs are structures that are made up of two or more tissues that work together, and these organs also carry out a specific job. So for example, your stomach is an organ. And one type of tissue that you'll see in the stomach is smooth muscle. That's on the inside of the stomach to help churn up the food. Roots, stems, and leaves are all considered organs of trees and plants. Body systems, or you might know these named as organ systems. So these are made up of the organs that work together to do a specific job. So for example, in your digestive system, you have the stomach, the esophagus, the mouth. These are all organs that help the digestive system do its job. The final level of organization is an organism. So this is made up of body systems that work together to help the organism stay alive. So our body is made up of the digestive system, the respiratory system, the muscular system, and other systems that help our body stay alive. And all these systems, as you know, work together. We're going to work backwards and talk a little bit about body systems. This is going to be a review for you, so we'll fly through it. The respiratory system, the function or the purpose of it is to bring oxygen into the body and release carbon dioxide. Circulatory system carries the oxygen to the muscles and carries carbon dioxide out of the body. So it moves, circulates, or moves things around the body. Skeletal system, this acts as a framework for our body. Muscular system works with the skeletal system to help us move. The digestive system breaks down food into energy that the body can use. The nervous system controls, coordinates, senses, and responds to the environment. And the reproductive system creates more of our species. These are the body systems that help keep our body alive, or keep multicellular organisms' bodies alive and moving. Now we're going to go down and work on tissues, and then we'll talk about some cells. So there are 4 different types of tissues. The first type of tissue is called epithelial tissue, and any epithelial tissue covers or lines the body. So for example, skin is considered epithelial tissue. This helps protect us. Connective tissue, the main purpose is that it fills space, it connects things, it supports things, and it protects things. So you know ligaments connect bones to bones and joints. So this helps connect. Muscular tissue, all muscular tissues contract and relax to allow movement. And so you know that there are different types of muscles, but they all do the same thing. They contract and relax, and they allow movement, whether it's cardiac muscle in your heart or skeletal muscle in your biceps. 4th type of tissue is called nervous, and this tissue is really responsible for sending messages throughout the body. So as you know, through the working on the nervous system, nervous tissue is brain, spinal cords, and some nerves. So we're getting down into cells, and we're talking specifically about specialized cells. So these are cells that have certain jobs to help an organism as a whole. The first type of specialized cell that we'll talk about is red blood cells. So this should be a review. Red blood cells carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is their purpose. That's the one job that they have in your body. White blood cells help fight pathogens. So again, their job is to protect your body against pathogens. It's their one and only job. Nerve cells send and receive messages. So this is our communication system in our body. It's the only thing they do, send and receive messages. They don't help fight pathogens, they don't carry oxygen, and they don't help us move. They send and receive messages. Root cells are an example of a specialized cell in a plant, and their job is to absorb water.